What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're going to be talking about another strategy that has yet to be proven, but I feel like might actually work. We've talked about this previously, and we've actually been on this account right here for it, and that is the newest Transcendence hero, Interstellar Hunter Patricia. So this strategy might actually become one that we do on our free-to-play account. I am not 100% sure just yet, but in the meantime we can test it out on this account because, well, it's a perfectly good early game account. Pretty much her tenants are what might make her viable, because if you take a look at it, she has two really solid tenants for her location. She's got hyperspace on her Islamok, really great support hero for survivability. Doppelganger Natalia, again, another really great supporter. Two of the better Transcendence heroes that almost every account has as you near the end game. Now, of course, she does have some interesting strategies here. She has some interesting survivability. She's able to dodge attacks. She's able to heal very well. The question is, can she do as good as either Doom Terminator Vulcan or, of course, the Big Daddy Lord of Fear Aspen? So we're going to try to start accumulating some resources on these accounts, try to push them and see what type of progression we can get. The big difference that we need to see is how they perform very early on in the Void campaign. You see right here, we're kind of just stuck already just at the first wave. This wave usually takes a while to beat, even for like Lord of Fear Aspen accounts. These first couple ones are very difficult, and then getting through the rest of stage 1-1 is not too bad. Typically though, if we can get some good CC off, this can be a pretty solid strategy. It does become a little difficult because there are tixes involved, which means there are attack reductions, which really lowers your overall damage output. The other issue with this account that we've been testing on with her is the fact that we only have like golden crowns. We don't have any offensive stuff. We don't have any other unique setups here. It's very much one-dimensional. However, she does have a ton of healing, she has dodging, and she even has a ton of stunning that might actually make her survive long enough in the future. One thing that we did see is she does have some really good progression in Sealand as well, already getting up to level 23 with very minimal setup here. And I can show you guys here again, a lot of it comes down to the fact that she can dodge a ton of attacks, which really does up her survivability rate. Now, of course, if she does get sealed, that does limit some of her passives, and eventually she does kind of lose the battle overall. Running her balance strike can work, but you can see there how she can be extremely survivability wise great. Now, the one thing we don't have on this account, which I highly recommend, is if you do go for this strategy, make sure you have at the very least a bunch of baby carries involved. Why is that? Well, she has a very unique passive, Galaxy Flame Tail, and we'll actually jump in over here to take a look at it as well. So this passive states whenever any hero on the battlefield whenever a hero dies, Interstellar Armament gains 4 more chances. This means she's going to have more chase and attacks, which is really good. That's more damage output. That also means more chances to get her stuns off and things like that too. If the dead hero is an ally, she also gains all damage reduction, not regular, but all damage reduction for 2 rounds, and restores HP equal to 25% of her max HP. Not missing HP, so again, a very strong heal. If the dead hero is an enemy, additionally increases self attack, so it's kind of like a win more, like kills an enemy off, she's probably going to get an active in the next round, kill more enemies off, get more attack, all that fun stuff. This is interesting too, because if the attribute buff will actually extend to 4 rounds instead of 2 rounds, which is huge for her defenses stuff. And then of course, all allies excluding yourself gain 50% of the same buffs as well. So as you go on further, this can stack up pretty well. Now, of course, like I said, in a lot of game modes, those carries are going to be pretty pivotal. Now, it's not just carry. Carry just seems to be one of the best ones. We'll actually go to her 5-star version down here. That's because she has the ability to revive. When Carrie dies, she'll become a shadowy spirit for 4 rounds and get 1 layer per round, and then she will revive. Every time a hero on the battlefield dies, she gains an extra layer, so she'll keep reviving over and over. If you do go up to like a 10-star carry, of course, there are some things that you can do that basically give you an additional chance to get a revive just a little earlier. So there's that. There are a couple other heroes you can build alongside her as well, though, because very much similar to Carrie, Azrael has something as well. he dies, he deals damage, and then he'll revive back. The only downside is his isn't exactly as strong, because the one advantage Carrie has, she has her energy drain ability, her devouring mark, things to get rid of energy, whereas other revive heroes such as Azrael don't quite fit the bill as well. And honestly, there's really no other great heroes that revive multiple times besides Azrael and Carrie. But if you do have a bunch of them, even just at 5-star, they can be useful to your team, which is very, very important. Now, again, if you're going for the strategy, I highly recommend you still go for the Eloise build order. You go Eloise, you then go into Hyperspace Hunter Ilamok, again, keeping all the power on your Eloise. But the nice thing about this strategy is the fact that you don't have to change away from the Hyperspace Hunter Ilamok. You can just go straight into your Interstellar Hunter's Patricia build, and then you just plop him down as one of the tenants. Now, she has the Natalie as a tenant, which should be able to get you to Sea 20 in light pretty decently. Again, your third Transcendence hero is most likely going to be Doppelganger Talia, because she is very, very good survivability and damage wise. And then you can build either a Gaggy or a version of herself. Probably building the Gaggy is going to be the better, because it's just so much easier building like regular 4-faction heroes. He's not going to do much for your account, but honestly, neither is a regular Patricia. Neither are going to do much, and then neither are going to be active in Void campaign anyway, which is probably going to be one of the most important game modes to push. One thing we did find out too, Aspen Dungeon, she's actually surprisingly good here as well, so keep that in mind when you are going ahead to build this hero. Very, very strong. And then beyond that, Tower of Dream, Tower of Oblivion, a very easy clear with her as well. It's just, well, she's one of the few heroes in the game that have the complete package, and there's a few that do. You have crowd control, you have damage, you have CC, you have survivability with a self-heal. Pretty much the same thing here. A little bit less reliable of a freeze CC, but it is there. Tons of healing and tons of burst. Now, she is not as bursty as Doom, Terminator, Vulcan, or Lord of Fear Aspen, but I honestly think she has a pretty sound strategy to get to where she needs to be. And then beyond that, I do have to say, out of all the cores out of those three, I kind of feel like building towards her Noble Core first isn't that bad. It's actually kind of good. So when she has that interstellar armament, which is almost the whole battle, at the end of each round increases control immunity by 5% for 3 random allies until the end of the battle. So level 1 is always weaker, of course, but your goal is to get to noble, so you can then Destiny transition her. When interstellar armament chases and attacks, increases the target allies damage reduction until the end of the round, which is really good, giving survivability to your allies. And this effect won't be affected on the same hero each round repeatedly, so it will jump around. After Stellar Blast is released, increases all ally speed. Not a lot of speed, but it might be enough to try to help beat out an enemy in the early Void campaign levels. And then, of course, when you jump into her Destiny transition, it's an interesting one. When interstellar armament chases and attacks, which is very often, it will consume 4 of the transition power layers and deal extra damage to that target, ignoring all defenses. That is pretty solid. She does have some interesting nodes here too. She has damage, and damage, so 3 different unique ones you can do there. Of course, the stat debuffs we're used to. And then right here is interesting, because she actually has chances to do Petrify Rock Lock and Freeze Cold Chill. You know those abilities that Starwing Jara was famous for so long? She can actually do something similar too, or just give herself even more energy. So this is a really interesting one, because it's not attached to her active, to her basic. It's attached to her chase and attacks, which is interesting. So we're going to try this here out. We're going to go for a very interesting build order here and see if it works. But I think it has potential, and I think that might be what we do on our free to play if it turns out good right here. So again, we're going to really start focusing on all these different strategies on our live streams. If you guys are interested to see a lot more detail about these strategies, come by our live stream later tonight. The notifications are already up. Make sure you hit that bell. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. It's going to be an interesting one. I'll see you guys next time.